Yeah, for today, I wanted to analyze Ryu. Oh, they actually have the the title reverse. I don't know if that was an actual YouTube video. I guess you guys can't actually even see it. Oh, okay. Yeah, the top is clipped off. The file name has Ryu as Rosalina and Dabuz as Roy, which is obviously backwards. Ryu playing as Roy, Dabuz Rosalina. This is actually a pretty cool race skin too. They're using some custom stuff, a couple of custom sounds too, which you may hear. Yeah, this is kind of cool.
A prudent choice.
Thanks to the follow, Slayer097. Your name's Seth? That's funny. So yeah, this matchup, it's definitely not terrible. Rosalina does struggle sometimes against sword characters. Sword character is very good at like cutting through her zoning and just ending Luma. I guess it is kind of Awakening Roy, huh? Awakening Roy has a bit more color to him. Not true. Let's get a little bit more noise. There we go.
A steadfast supporter.
Thanks for the follow, Nightwing. Hope to see you around more often. You were watching the stream? Okay. Yeah, so this matchup is interesting because Roy hits Rosalina really hard, kills Luma fairly easily. Rio does a really... I'm going to keep on saying Ryu. I apologize whenever if you watch this, Rio. But yeah, the Rio does a really good job using Nair 1 setups in this game, which is one thing I particularly wanted to look at. It seems a little bit easier on Rosalina than against some characters, since she is so, so tall. She's such a tall hurtbox, so we can like do the Nair a little higher, and we got a little bit of leniency on how we set it up. Don't have to get it like so low to the ground that we have to against some characters. Yeah. Rio, Roy. Nair 1's good. Yeah, I don't stream too often Nightwing. I've been trying to make Tuesday streams of things, since Tuesday is when I'm actually free. Yeah, it'd be cool to see you around. Right, yeah, I kept mixing up Net and Night. But yeah, so Roy hits Rosalina pretty hard, but he's also a pretty good weight for up air stuff from Rosalina, and his recovery also gets completely murked by her down air. If she sets up down air right off stage, Roy just dies. Pretty much end of story, like that's it. There are some ways Roy can mix up his recovery, as always, to try and slip around it, but it's difficult. Oh, please. So yeah, like these, even whenever Roy's in the air, Roy doesn't really have decent ways to escape. Like, obviously a Zero Suit would be able to like kick away, so would Sheik. Diddy Kong can flip kick all over the place. Roy can mix up his landing with B reverse, side B, and neutral B, but aside from that, he's just got his double jump and that's it. So yeah, and these sort of situations can be pretty hard whenever Roy's just completely above his opponent and doesn't have any resources to burn to try and get out of the way. Usually in this situation, I just try and get to the ledge. But Rio is pretty aggressive, so a lot of times he'll, at least in this set, goes for a lot of just falling down aerials onto his opponent. Smash4 is like the most neutral stage, so that's why you see it a lot. There are some characters that can like carry people off of platforms, like you'll see like Sheik forward air people onto the platform and like re-grab them and forward them off stage and escort them to the blast zone. But aside from that, this is like basically the most neutral stage in the game. FD isn't as neutral because since it's wider, more characters can take advantage of that space and like run from people or get like super extended combos from the long distance. And Battlefield, people can be carried along the platforms or like pressured from beneath. Like, I'm sure you've seen videos of Zero Suit up airing people onto the platforms and then up airing them all the way up to the top blast zone and then just killing them off the top. So that's there are some things like that can happen on Battlefield. Whereas yeah, on Smashville, it doesn't benefit zoners as much as FD does, and also doesn't have like crazy ridiculous things that happen too often. So. Yeah, as you can see here, Rio going for kind of a... He's swinging down air here because that's the only thing Roy can really do. I mean, you're above Rosalina. You don't have a double jump. He could up B, but he's just going to get hit afterwards, so might as well swing, right? The one thing that I find interesting... I don't know how much Rosalina experience Rio has, because he doesn't do a great job of eliminating Luma, which is often the objective in this matchup. Whoever you're playing against, again, whatever character you are against Rosalina, once you get rid of this little star thing right here, the matchup doesn't matter who you are. The matchup becomes significantly easier. So usually the first objective is to kill Rosalina, and then use that to give yourself an opportunity to get in on Rosalina and pressure her and put damage on. Rio doesn't really bother with that. He just goes straight for the face. As you can see here, he's just like he's using Rosalina the Luma as like a little hurdle for his short hop, and just getting right in there and getting right in Rosalina's face, which works out fairly well in these games, but I don't think it's a good long-term game plan. There are lots of situations where Rio has where he could be eliminating Luma and he doesn't, which I'll point out as we see them, which could potentially make the matchup a little bit easier. FD does make it very, very hard to land versus characters like Fox. As anyone who has seen really good Fox play, or if you've watched the Jason versus Cosmos, sometimes it looks like damn near impossible to get to the ground. Cloud loves FD against some characters because of the landing. Yeah, that's true. Characters who have like a really good up air, getting away from a Cloud from beneath you is pretty much impossible. You just have to get off stage, and because of how wide the stage is, sometimes you get up aired and you're just like, well, I can't make it to the ledge, so I'm gonna get up aired again. FD might be worse. Cloud's worst stage. Maybe. I definitely don't like Smash4 versus Cloud as Roy, because he camps the platform and life becomes difficult. But yeah. I digress. So yeah, here's, I think, an example of, I don't know if this is just accidental bad spacing on his part, if he just doesn't know that tip F tilt won't send Luma into hitstun, but if he had gotten Sweet Spot here, it probably would have killed Luma, which would have been nice.
You don't want to be a bomb pilot. You want to be a Meta Knight person.
Yeah, there are lots of situations like this whenever Luma is separated from Dabuz. Oh, that was godlike. This is something that Rio likes to do, the stand up from the ledge into up B. Not sure if I like it, especially at these low percents. Like if you, at 13%, you might be able to hit Rosalina with up B and then get punished on hit. Like this doesn't have great knockback at low percents. It's a pretty risky thing to try. Roy's blade is still disjointed, yeah. Although the way that he swings it in this game means that a lot of times it doesn't have as much range as like Marth in Melee does, or Marth in this game either.
We'll see what happens. Nothing is for certain yet. It's gonna be former. I am not saying anything for sure.
This is actually a pretty cool setup from Dabuz. Setting up the
I am not saying anything.
the Luma F tilt into up smash. Doesn't actually work, but I really want to know how Dabuz gets Luma to move into position for this. If he's like pressing A and then pressing forward on his control stick to make it so that Luma moves forward like that. Which it's not really important as far as being able to use that knowledge, because obviously he can do it, but it's just a thing I'm kind of curious about. Because obviously, you know that this kills the person you're grab releasing.
I've always had a meta. I've always had a meta. I've never had a meta.
Tip up air does very little at low percents. Yeah, kind of hard to combo off of the falling up air at these percents for Rosalina. Back air is the standard follow up for falling up air. Just press B and grab them. Really? That's that easy? Huh. Okay. That's less impressive than I would imagine it would have been then.
How do I bring the broadcast back? Buffalo Jones, please refresh the stream. Roy is top tier, 0.
Rio trying to find a way around neutral. Dabuz is doing a pretty good job at this point in time, just keeping him out. Which this is the sort of thing that I think you'd be seeing a lot of time in this matchup whenever Rosalina has Luma in play, which is why getting rid of Luma is so important. Getting rid of her zoning. Like right here, I think like the standard go-to option would just be lead chop neutral air, so you chop up Luma and like push her off, deal damage to her, and then even if it's not necessarily killing Luma, putting more damage on her so you can poke more safely at Rosalina while Luma is in hit stun is generally a good idea.
It's not even that, but I know like when you go home like to like the bombs that night, they're gonna be like tick tick crop.
I'm wondering if this is actually a shield break setup. Because if Dabuz had kept shielding here, I think the side B might have just broken his shielding, which might be something I should look out for more in the future. If you get like double sweet spot jab on shield, just to go for the snap off of the full side B combo. And here we go, Rosalina being super light. Bam, forward they're gonna kill. I really like this falling neutral air. Falling neutral air out of full up is something that I feel like I don't do enough. But finding the right situations for it can be difficult. Kind of wild up smash. I wish fair killed like that all the time. I know, right? Fair kills are very satisfying. Do you think side B wouldn't have poked? There's a chance it would have poked. It depends on what combinations you do on the side B. If you're doing straightforward side B, I don't think it would poke because it hits very like in the center. Sweet spot jab. There's a fine line against a lot of characters where you can sweet spot jab their shield and actually be outside of shield grab range. And as long as you're outside of shield grab range, it's relatively safe. Let's look at the numbers. Let's not guess. Let's see exactly how safe it is. Let us pull out the frame data. See, right. Sweet spot is only -10, which means as long as you're not in range for a 3-frame jab, then jab sweet spot on shield is safe. As long if you're in that perfect range where you can sweet spot and they can't shield grab you, against basically everyone you're going to be safe because jab also has usually not as much range as our jab, or it's not going to be 3 frames. Like Marth could technically drop shield jab in between double jab, but he wouldn't be able to punish our jab if we were trying to shield or go for or not attack and press our advantage afterwards. Only -10. That's just... Oh, down tilt's only -6. That's so beautiful. I think that's something I need to work on more, is using more down tilts instead of jabs and for the shield pressure, just because it's so absurdly safe on block. The -6. I wonder what Diddy Kong's down tilt is. Let's see this. This is my favorite doc. I could stare into this document all day. His down tilt is -9, so... What was ours again? I think our sweet spot was also -9. Ours is only -6. Jesus Christ, -6. So our down tilt is actually... Yeah, -6 is amazing. Like, that's not good, that's not great, that is amazing. Amazing. Like, it's hard to overstate that. Like, I just wish we got more reward off of it. It's frustrating that we don't get too much. If we comboed off of down tilt like Diddy Kong did, Roy would be a good character, like straight up. He'd be great. But still gonna be really good for pressure. So still something that personally I should be working in more. Anytime that we could be doing a double jab on shield, we should probably be doing jab down tilt instead. I can land safe pressure on shields, but I don't know what to do with the advantage. I just try to cover roll in. That's often what pressure against shields really is it's trying to, not necessarily trying to pop them open, trying to stop them from shielding, but to cut off any options they can do out of the shield. Because as long as you make it so they can't hurt you while you're attacking their shield, and they can't get away from you to get into a better position, then you're eventually going to win, whether that be because their shield gets too small and it got stabbed, or because they tried to do an option and then and we stuffed them out of it and got damage, or they just hold shield literally forever and had their shield break and we charge neutral B them and they die at whatever percent they're at. So that's fine. Just being able to cover rolling in is good. That's it's like the baseline option that a lot of people will pick. That's not quite as safe, especially against Roy, like tip jab pressure or like safe space jab pressure. Yeah, we don't necessarily need to open people up unless you can, like, they're at a good position where we can combo off of a throw, or you can kill with up throw. A lot of times it can be safer just to like poke at their shield with jab, down tilt. Be ready to poke them out of an attack if they try to attack you directly, and be prepared to chase or punish if they try and slip away.
Oh, there's a scat evil. Okay. Right. Follow him.
Yes, actually, I can drop the link to this document in the chat. Anyone who is watching this later on, I'll try and remember to put this in the comments. Which I should really just put it in the comments of every stream video I do, since I end up referencing it, like, I think in every single one. No problem, neighbor. It's a very good doc. Much studying.
Also, give him some energy.
Down tilt into neutral B is amazing pressure. That's interesting, actually. I could see that, just because neutral B is really, really good because of its disjoint.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm like,
Yep, here's them neutral Nair ones I was mentioning. This one is particularly interesting because he's not actually. So usually, whenever you do Nair 1 setups, where'd my pen go? There you are. Whenever you do Nair 1 setups, oftentimes you're like jumping into an opponent and trying to set up the Nair 1 as they're in front of you. But this time, he's actually dropping down from behind and setting up the Nair 1 that way. Which I think is kind of interesting, especially since Dabuz is facing in this direction. He can't just shield grab him as he's landing. He can't, up smash out of shield isn't really going to work all too well. Rosa aerials out of shield are pretty slow, and Luma's not in a position where he can, like, instantly nair out of shield and have Luma be kicking and throwing hitboxes out. So this is actually a really, really safe way to set up the first hit of neutral air. Which is worth noting. I think, looking for this sort of situation in the future might be a good way to sort of look for those Nair ones. Yeah, a lot of time retreating Nair 1 will get you this hour spot, which doesn't come with this stuff. So. Yeah, this time, pretty solid combo.
There are some characters that just don't like have.
Good job eliminating Luma that time. Nice chase down on the roll, which is one of the best things side B is good for. Reacting to that. So this is one thing that Ryu does. I did say Rio that time. The beard, right? Setting up for the neutral air, because as long as you're again, let's look at the numbers. Numbers of neutral air. Show us. Neutral air. Sweet spot first hit is actually -6. Holy shit. So those numbers are a lot lower than I expected them to be. So first, assuming you're using the first hit of neutral air and getting the sweet spot and not spacing inside shield grab range, it's actually a really safe thing. So yeah, this is something that Rio does a good amount. If he's not sure if the Nair 1 is going to hit, he'll just go into jab instead. Which in this situation actually does get punished, but and then got kind of screwed by the platform there. But it's an interesting thing to note is that safely spaced Nair 1 or safe spaced Nair 1s, properly spaced Nair 1s are safe on shield. Radiant Garden, Kingdom Hearts 2. I think it's Radiant Garden. I know. I just remember the name of the actual remix itself. It's the what's the name of that world? I forget the name of the world. It's been so long since I played Kingdom Hearts. I don't remember. I just remember it's the place with the water that's falling upwards, where I think you see Beast for the first time. I think it's Kingdom Hearts 1, actually. I don't remember. But that's a really good song. Above the Rising Falls is the name of the DOC remix.
So, I mean, this is actually a pretty like unique.
Yeah, and these the Nair 1 into Jabs does set, you know, the pretty tasty combos.
We have not only Mitsuki here, and then Rio. These are basically top players. But now we also have Dabuz and Vinny.
So this is just exhibition. It's not actually a tournament match.
We also have Dabuz and Vinny.
This, in my opinion, is one of Roy's more annoying weaknesses. Is that he's really bad at covering the ledge. Well, not covering the ledge, but rather hitting people that are on the ledge itself. If you actually snap to the ledge, from my testing, unless they're a character that like are hanging above the ledge and more vulnerable than most, down tilt and Hollow Bastion. That's it. I wanted to say Bastion, but I didn't think that was correct. Hollow Bastion is the full name of the world. So the Roy F smash doesn't hit the ledge. I don't think down smash does either, unless it's like against specific characters with the maybe the sweet spot of the blade. But down tilt and like falling down air are one of the few ways to make it consistent. And falling down air is pretty hard to hit, and down tilt has very little reward. So against people that double grab like this, unless you're going for the hard call out on where they're going to be on their up B with down air, and there's not really a great way to punish, and it kind of sucks, honestly. A lot of characters that can just be like, oh, well, I'll just walk forward and then down smash you no matter where you are, and you just die. And Roy doesn't get to do that. Neutral B, charge neutral B will hit people that are holding onto the ledge, but you have to be spaced super deep for the neutral air to work like that. So yeah, it's just something we have to deal with. It's going to be hard, but pretty good coverage here, though. Still getting the up smash afterwards. Unfortunately, doesn't kill him since he's 9%. Hey, what's up? I love you all.
He did it like 3 times. I did. Oh, he did it? So yelling. Yes, of course.
So
Oh, he did?
this technically isn't safe. He would be able to get a shield grab out before Rio could get the up tilt, but he just did it fast enough that the Buzz didn't react.
Super hyped. Maybe Snake gets like energy from the Buzz being here, since he is the Luma god.
Yeah, again, I don't think this is actually safe. Yeah, he's close enough. He's definitely close enough that Dabuz could have shield grabbed him here, but he just did it so fast, and I don't know if that was a shield stab or if Dabuz just dropped shield because he wasn't expecting it to be hitting him anymore. Which I've gotten people with this before myself. Kind of a gimmicky setup that'll catch people off guard if you haven't done it to them before. The tall characters especially, since they'll get clipped by like the tail end of the up B hitbox. Yeah, it's sort of the it's hard to say in these situations how much of Rio winning out on the interaction is Rio's playstyle, because really aggressive players will make these sort of things happen more often than you might expect, like doing stuff that's like technically by the book not safe, but making it work because of like conditioning and intimidation and other stuff that they've done. Or if, on the other hand, it's just Dabuz not being as familiar in the matchup, and if he thought that neutral air would be like completely safe on block, or just didn't know that he could shield grab in between that and the up B. Because up B doesn't hit until frame 10, which means that there would be a there'd be a 16 frame gap where Dabuz can do whatever he wants in there, and obviously grab would fit in there. Even if he did it a little bit slow, it would still beat out the startup armor of up B.
Hurry. Bacon, cheeseburger.
But we don't. Dabuz might not even know that up B has armor. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh wow. Neither.
Because you know how many Rays are out there, right? Actually, the counter isn't a bad idea here because Dabuz has been using a lot of up smash to cover this situation where he's just like he has a feeling that Rio is falling in towards center stage rather than like out here, and been using up smash to cover all that. In this situation, he guessed that Rio was going to pull back and try to land towards the tip of the stage instead of diving in more. Dabuz thinks Roy is one of the worst in the game. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't know too much about him. I think it was it Dabuz and Zero who said that they think Roy is bottom 5? Oh, kill the Luma! Kill the Luma! Especially when you're ahead. Yeah, right here, if he had hesitated for just a moment, he could F-tilt Luma, and then Luma would be gone. And then, you know, since he has a lead especially, he doesn't need to be too aggressive. Like, going by the textbook standard optimal way to do it, which should be killing Luma here and then putting on more pressure and putting on a little damage, and not playing too risky. But, I don't know. I don't know if that's just Rio's style, or if he's just, again, doesn't have too much experience in the matchup or what.
Oh, you're right.
Interesting. Okay, you probably could have shielded that the dash attack. That's an interesting property of Rosalina, is that she can technically punish a lot of things with dash attack, but a lot of things are just going to be like interrupting movement. So it has to be a call out of when she thinks they're going to be playing a little bit safer and just shielding afterwards, or trying to slip around. Yeah, killing Luma and having stock advantage is amazing. It's great. Roy's not in Dabuz's laptop, therefore must be bad. Not wrong. I don't know if you guys can hear this. They have a custom sound on Luma. It's the snake scream. For a brawl stick. Is this a good matchup for Roy? Some Roys think it's good. Personally, I'm not so sure. I think it's scary. Yeah, the snake's pretty good stuff. The snake scream.
I had to let the Luma marinate. Yeah, laugh. It's so funny, man. I had to let the Luma marinate. It's so great.
Yeah, I mean, like this situation, I think this is like one of the few situations where Rio's actually pressuring him whenever he's this is super wild. Whenever he doesn't have Luma, which, you know, makes it so all of our aerial spacing is much safer. Because it's a cute little star screaming like a grown man. Yeah, that's that's probably why it's hilarious. Yeah, kind of a wild down air here from Rio, which makes sense considering the situation where he's got the stock up. You know, just if he didn't land the down air here, that would be the end of the game. But as I mentioned in my last analysis stream, I think it's really important to be able to put yourself in situations like this, and then if they did air dodge, react to it and go for the down air, and then if they did not air dodge, then, you know, default to something else instead. Sort of like you have like two streams in your mind, two different things that you want to do, and if something happens, do this. If that doesn't happen, then do something else instead. Which in this situation would just be like double jumping backwards, maybe putting out a neutral air and up air just to cover like this real estate with hitboxes. But yeah, not to like. That's kind of cherry picking. Like, that's not a terrible decision here. He did give up stage control, but yeah, the reward would have been really good if he did land it. So nice safe back air spacing. Scary stuff with the up smash.
Yeah, I know. We've been wanting to like announce them too for a little bit. So
This is I actually really like this. If Rosa was short, this matchup would absolutely be hell. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like this is sort of like a middling matchup for Roy. It's not like, it's definitely not his worst matchup, and it's probably not his best either. Yeah, this is interesting. A little bit of a slow fall on the charge of the neutral B, and also really good disjoint at beating out the up smash. It's kind of fascinating how often Rio is making this work whenever Dabuz has this spacing going on with Luma, where he's just jumping in and going in between. It almost seems like this is a blind spot in Luma's control. Because Luma can't... It's like she can attack straight up, or he can attack straight up, forward and back, but he doesn't actually have, like, a fox up tilt. Thank God. On Luma. So if they are going to cover this little spot, then they have to attack with Rosalina, whether that be with up smash or forward air or something. So maybe this isn't a bad idea. Maybe this is something we should do more often as Roy players. The neutral B here especially, since it's going to beat out the up smash. It's interesting. Sonic's not really small. Sonic turns into a ball, so he makes himself small on his side B and such. But yeah. Yeah, as you can see here, he did the up smash, which is good coverage on Luma and like a good safe way to control the space directly around Rosalina as well. But there is definitely a blind spot here that he just slips in and drops some fire. Kinda interesting.
Like everything came in. I'm very happy. He was excited to join us. He was very excited.
Yep, and that is Roy's big downfall. Is if we ever get sent down at an angle like this, we just don't make it because Roy's recovery is bollocks.
Very happy. The thing he's most excited about too is actually like
Armor on Roy up B, that'd be pretty sick. That would make edge guarding him a nightmare, which I would be okay with personally. It'd be great. Might not be okay, but it would be fun. Yeah, so here Rio is definitely fishing for the first hit in there, trying to get some sort of follow-up after that, potentially just go for the kill, which I think might be, I don't know, might be a little bit too much. Like, trying to force the kill at these percents is pretty ballsy, especially whenever you don't have rage. I mean, he didn't necessarily have to take that risk. Like here, he could be poking at Dabuz's shield. Despite the fact that Rio is like dancing all over the place and making it hard for Dabuz to do things, Dabuz isn't actually trying to do things. He's just kind of like standing here and sitting in shield, camping in shield, really. And this strategy of going around and fishing for the neutral air one, isn't hurting his shield, isn't really stopping his strategy. And it gets to the point where Dabuz just reacts with the up smash out of shield whenever Rio gets in front of him. Which isn't a great look. I mean, we don't want to be getting by Rosalina whenever she doesn't have Luma. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Rio uses much side B. In this matchup, actually, that makes sense. Rosalina is one of the characters where side B is the most unreliable. A lot of times she's so floaty that she'll just float out and double jump out, and then, you know, we're sitting there swinging our sword at the open air looking super dumb. I don't really like shield pressure with side B, especially against Rosalina, because like I mentioned, side B not liable against her. But side B's got a lot of end leg, so it's not really good shield pressure. Nair, down tilt, jab are all better. Shield, yeah, going for a grab might not have been a bad idea. Rio doesn't really go for grabs. I don't know that he's tried to grab, actually, now that you mention it. I don't recall seeing him go for a grab, which is interesting, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because Roy's grab is kind of bad. His dash grab like stops all of his momentum instantly, so it has very little effective range. Rosalina is a really good weight for forward throw neutral air combos though, so maybe that could be a thing that he could make more use of. Especially since he's got him really intimidated by the neutral air. Being able to like do Nair 1. Okay, he went for a grab there. He's probably done a couple here and there that I'm just not remembering. This is the downfall. This is the reason why, in my opinion, neutral air 1 isn't just the complete, awesome, best thing Roy has ever. Oh, I went forward instead of back. Oops. That's still not back far enough. Come on. Where are we? There we go. Okay. So the reason why neutral air is not the best, most awesome thing ever is because you can't hit confirm it. In this situation, Rio is just going into the jab because he's not 100% sure whether or not the neutral air 1 is going to hit. If he did know it was going to hit, he could do something like up smash, up tilt, up B, and probably just get the stock here. But having to decide as he's doing the neutral air if he's going to follow up into either something safe or into attempting a kill move makes it so it's much harder to gauge the risk reward. Rio doesn't use side B much and doesn't spot dodge at all. He thinks that Roy should be constantly moving, which makes Roy scary sometimes. Yeah, it definitely does seem like his playstyle. I mean, if it's his play, he's a very aggressive player. I do agree that there are times when Roy most certainly should be patient. I don't think the reward that Roy gets out of a lot of aggression is good enough for the risk of him going in. I don't know. There are different times for different methods. He is a really fast character, so and Rio is obviously having it work. I mean, he's taking games from Dabuz, but I don't know. I feel like that's the sort of thing where the more you play against people. That's a good punish. The more Roy experience they have, the harder it is going to be aggressive.
It actually does. What? Okay, what screen? I mean, I've only seen gameplay for like 10 minutes. Well, you can develop your own levels.
Offstage Roy is spooky stuff.
One of the most iconic things inside, you know, his character. So that's why I feel like that is cool. No, it's really cool. It's I feel like that.
Kinda. I think it's kind of strange here that he chooses to run in stage instead of either grab. Like a dash grab here would be wonderful. It would lead into like, well, Luma. It would lead into damage on Luma. Maybe that's why he's not grabbing in this matchup, is because he doesn't want to get hit by Luma.
No, it's really
Since that is a thing that can happen a lot.
I think it's very sleek. Yes, it's very crisp.
Oh, yep, this is unfortunate.
It's very sleek. Yes, it's very crisp.
So, as you guys can see here on our nice replay function, is that this is actually a double jump here. Rio had, you know, he got the neutral air, so ran forward, you know, got the standard bread and butter forward air. But ran a little bit too far, didn't realize to use his double jump, so tried to double jump forward air here.
I think it's
Fortunately, Dabuz gives him the homie stock. Yeah, this is exhibition matches. If it was tournament, I imagine Dabuz probably wouldn't offer up the homie stock, just because, you know, Dabuz is a guy who does play to win. So here's the thing I could talk about. I think I may have mentioned before in my analysis versus Tracy. If you charge neutral B at the ledge as a Roy, what's up, P-dubs? If you charge neutral B at the ledge as a Roy versus Rosalina, there's almost nothing she can do to stop you from killing Luma. If she gets up in place, then you release neutral B, Luma dies, but you potentially hit her as well. Same thing for get up attack, assuming you space outside of it. If she does ledge jump like this, even if you don't time it to hit her out of her ledge jump itself, Luma trails so far behind that it's honestly pretty difficult to miss the little star, and he's pretty low too. So charging neutral B at the stage, at the ledge for the ledge pressure, whenever you're in this sort of situation, has been a really, really consistent way for me to remove Luma from the picture, which, of course, as always, is one of the big goals. Get rid of the little devil star so you can kill the lady. The only thing Rosalina can really do about it, from what I've seen, is either, do a get-up attack from the ledge, which is kind of risky considering we potentially hit her for it, or let go of the ledge, go down low, and then up air beneath the stage, which will knock us out of it, and we won't be able to set up another neutral B fast enough to stop her from her next attempt from the ledge. Which has some counterplay. Obviously, if we think she's going to release, we can release the neutral B early, and then like double jump or full hop or short hop over the up air, and then it may be down air or out of when she grabs the ledge or whatnot.
Right now, Rio's Roy. Rio's Roy.
First strings are difficult to get out of.
The boy.
Nice pivot. Neutral B there. Dabuz actually reacted to it or expected it, but didn't space his back air properly.
The boy, Roy.
This is the sort of situation where you probably should be grabbing as Roy, but
what a lovely Dabuz. It is.
Again, kind of the blind spot there.
I'm actually gonna have to when he gets on commentary.
Dash attack is a proper choice there, if only to get rid of Luma, but also hitting Rosalina. Great. Not sure what he was going for there.
Much love to you all. All of you.
Trying to go for the confirm into F tilt. F tilt is one of the safer confirms to go into. If you're not sure that the Nair one's going to connect and you still want to be able to potentially kill them, F tilt would probably kill Rose at that percent, that close to the ledge. And the up B most certainly will. Again, there's this sort of blind spot. That's very interesting. Dabuz hasn't punished Rio, I think, a single time whenever Rio has been jumping in at that angle in between the two. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, guys, some goal today.
Rio with the anime pose here. Check this out. That's great. He's so anime.
I've said anything about my not
Luma. Kill the Luma. Kill it.
I would if you like.
So, yeah, this would be a prime position for. I think I've mentioned before in my analysis in other Rosalina vids. If Luma has taken no damage, then F tilt won't put her into hit stun. But if she's taken any hit at all, even as something as light as like a jab, then F tilt will knock her into hit stun. So if you're ever in this position where you're right next to Luma and she hasn't been hit yet, or he hasn't been hit yet, you can do jab F tilt and push it off stage. Here, he did already hit it with something, I believe that neutral air, so he could just F tilt here. Which might not have sent Luma off stage, actually. It might have landed on the ledge, but F tilt or like F smash to really ruin Luma day, I think would have been a good idea here.
We got MEG Rio. We got. Well, I mean, what would be? I'm still 7 the bomb tossing. It's still.
It's interesting. So it looks like Ryu's actually going for the sort of like the blind spot that I was talking about earlier, between Luma and Rosa. But this time, so he sets up for it and then realizes that Luma isn't actually where he expected it to be. So then just dips out. Pretty good reaction. Falling up are obviously a pretty safe thing to set up. That pretty ballsy.
I'm still gonna play Link. It's not like I'm not gonna play Link. But it's,
Yeah, I think patient aggression is very important a lot of times. It really depends on the situation and your playstyle and what character and all sorts of other variables. Don't kill the Luma.
man.
Kill the Luma. Kill it. Kill it.
MEG Rio.
Yes! No! Didn't kill it. Platform got in the way.
Newly sponsored.
And it would have worked again here. This time Rio was a little bit off in his spacing. He charged the neutral B a little too early, which kind of messed up his ledge shot.
Here's to new beginnings.
Thanks for the follow, Red Sniper. Yeah, he charged the neutral B a little earlier, which I think looked like it actually kind of canceled some of his momentum, so he dropped down into the multi-hits. But still, same idea. If he had came up, he could have went through and then... Like, the hitboxes here, he could drop above that, and like with forward air, down air, or even neutral B if he had spaced and timed it right. Which is really interesting. Gonna have to remember that. Yeah, if the Buzz shielded, he would get more shield grabs.
Sponsored. Give a shout out to the Buzz.
The music over? Yes. Let's get restart the playlist. I need to start searching for more OC remix and other songs I can be putting onto my playlist, so I don't have to restart it midstream.
Congratulations.
Although I do really like this song.
Everyone's been waiting for you to get sponsored too. Oh yeah.
It's interesting. The Buzz actually DI'd too far in for the neutral air to clean hit.
You get sponsored.
So forward air is what you should do in that situation, which can be pretty hard to do on the fly, to decide between the two, and especially since neutral air is such a good reward.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that pressure, that pressure. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm surprised he got down tilt out. What frame is Rosalina down tilt? Show me. Rosalina. Down tilt. Frame 5. Damn, her down tilt's really fast. Faster than her jab. Interesting. So, technically, that's frame 12. Versus 14. So that does actually beat the option he was choosing there, since he was going for F tilt, which is a little bit slower.
Can you admit you have been rejected by the Sith Academy?
But interesting. So against, oh no, he's going for jab. It was just too far out of range.
Oh yeah.
So Rosalina is actually one of the few characters where down tilt pressure might not be so great, since her down tilt is a decent response. Yeah, just doing analysis right now, Red Sniper. I don't really play online too much myself, so unfortunately haven't been doing much of that. But I do a lot of these sort of analysis
By the Sith
bits.
Academy. Wow. I have
Okay, here we go. That time actually getting the grab, although an interesting time to be doing it. Pushing off stage trying to go for the down air, but the reward on the grab itself wasn't too great. Nice strings on Luma. Yeah, so here, again, since Luma had taken damage, he could have forward tilted. I think jab to forward tilt is actually guaranteed on Luma as well. She wouldn't be able to... Luma's a he, I think. Easy. If you do jab forward tilt, I don't think Luma can slip out like from Rosalina's callback in time to evade it. Oh, this is dirty. Look at this. Super low below the stage. The hardest 2-frame ever. Avoiding group battles because he doesn't want to see my 3DS Lucas. I am afraid of the 3DS Lucas. Right. Mr. Neighbor. It's kind of funny. Dabuz just runs underneath the neutral air. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why neutral air is so good with Rosalina and neutral, is because Luma actually hits really fast on the startup. I think it's like a 3-frame startup for hitting in front of him, and then afterwards, after a slight delay, he like swings behind him and behind himself as well, which pulls you in for whatever reason, which sets up for delicious Rosalina follow-ups. Luma.
Who's that Gerudo chick? I don't.
So this is one of the better times to use side B on shield, in my opinion. Whenever you're to someone's back, because one, a lot of times they're going to want to be slipping away, like Dabuz is trying to do here, and two, since they can't shield grab you, it's a bit safer on block. Still not totally safe, but it's a more vulnerable position for people to be in, so they're not usually thinking quite as much about offense. I like this. This is really real cute. One uses the footstool on shield. Maybe not intentionally, maybe it was just supposed to be a full hop, but regardless, he recognized that, so he used his double jump afterwards to evade the up smash and get the Nair one. And the up smash isn't actually guaranteed here, but just because Dabuz was not ready for it, he wasn't mashing a jump or an attack. If he had air dodge, he still would have got F smashed. Maybe he could have drifted away instead of inwards to avoid it. I can hear he drifted in, might have been able to drift out and maybe just get like the tip. But still not a bad setup at all. I'm pretty sure there are situations where Nair 1 does confirm into F smash. It might have to be frame cancelled, but it pulls you in Kasaka. I was like, yeah, fuck it. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, super pretty. And this is what I'm talking about with double-edged stance not being consistent against Rosalina. Look at this shit. Maybe it's because maybe the Luma hit stun is slowing the hitboxes down too much. Although he could have done the fourth swing up here, and it would have connected. Actually caught her out of a double jump. Yeah, if he had done up here, it would have pulled, swung up and hit her. But, yeah, it's pretty inconsistent overall. And then we get F smashed. Like, we get F smashed for hitting somebody. I mean, come on, that just sucks.
What?
Yeah, that, like, the high would have worked. Good patience on Dabuz. So this seems like this is Dabuz's game plan for shielding, is just waiting for the second swing and then punishing, since it's a lot easier to punish Roy's like F tilt, and in some situations jab on shield, than it is to punish neutral air or like this up air on shield. Just how a chance Luma would have just hit him off stage and to do the upswing. Yeah, you're right. Another back air here. He actually caught him. Caught him out of. Looked like he was dropping down from the ledge to go for it. A double jump must have been it, because obviously he doesn't have his double jump here. He doesn't make it back. Which is the problem in this matchup, of course. The back air, since it hits at such a low angle, it kills our stock super early. I think one thing that would be worth testing out, in my opinion, is figuring out whether or not. So obviously we're not getting Blast Zone KO'd by this back air. It's not really a threat as far as like raw knockback is concerned. It's just sending it such a low angle that we just don't make it back. I wonder if it might be worth it just to DI up on this hit instead, and see if that higher angle might be better for recovering. Even if that is technically more knockback, it is technically worse for surviving the Blast Zone KOs than DIing straight in. that's not the threat of the move. But I don't know. It's something that I've kind of like had on the back burner that I need to test out sometime. But I'm not sure if that like if that's actually going to result in more overall time for us to recover to get further distance than just DIing in and taking a little bit less knockback than the higher arc. But yeah, I think that's the last game they play. Yeah. Interesting to note that Dabuz didn't actually even try to do any down airs off stage, which is, in my opinion, one of the weakest aspects of this matchup for Roy. Down airs, like just completely chewing through Roy up B from above. Back airs off stage, ending stock super early. Like you saw here, Roy's at the ledge and getting hit by a back air, and he's dying at like 70, 90%. That's actually not that much damage on the back air. 90%. And even that is enough to finish the stock off. Like it doesn't take much. If Roy doesn't have his double jump, especially if he doesn't have his double jump, then you know, like you flick him on the nose and he doesn't make it back. So, yeah, Dabuz never found any edge guards like out off stage. All the ones that he tried were like kind of safe interception, like controlling this area, rather than like dropping down with forward air or back air, which is when it really sucks as Roy. Like if you get hit by like Diddy Kong forward air, Rosalina forward air, most forward airs in the game down in this area, you basically just don't make it back unless you're at low percent and have your double jump. His recovery just doesn't go far enough. Especially if the forward airs are like these forwards that send at a low angle. But yeah, the couple interesting things to note. Like the blind spot on the Rosalina and Luma setups. Nair 1 being really, 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 really good against her, especially because she's so tall. It's interesting stuff. I'd like to see this happen a couple more times. Like, have Dabuz get a little bit more experience in the matchup.
Unwavering purpose.
Thanks for the follow, Orca Fang. I'd like to see this how Dabuz would do if he had a little bit more matchup experience in against Roy, because there were some obvious flubs. Some are not necessarily flubs, but some obvious things that he didn't know about, like when he should be trying to go for shield grabs against Roy. And you kind of get a feel for it later on just by waiting for the second swing and then punishing. But yeah, it's interesting. Some interesting things to know. But I think that is gonna be it for the stream tonight. Gonna keep it relatively quick since I'm honestly still exhausted from the trip to Minnesota. For anyone who missed any of the discussions, it's all gonna be up on YouTube afterwards. So if you want to go back and see from the start or hear about the chatting from my trip to Push More Buttons, definitely check that out. I think I have my YouTube linked below in my my Twitch area. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to be busy this weekend, so my next stream will be on Tuesday. I'm going to keep the Tuesday streams a weekly thing. So far, so good. I feel like if I can get off my tush and do it after the trip to Minnesota, I can probably do it most weeks. So, but yeah, we'll see you guys on next Tuesday stream. Should be fun.